This is due to Bet Sports.
What is up, everybody? No commercials here at RacingDudes.com. We are right back at you. Magic Mike Show just finished the across the finish line, if I could talk right. And now it's time for Dudes Who Bet Sports, which will be Dudes Who Bet the Belmont, and then a little Dudes Who Bet Sports. Papa Dude, you ready to rock and roll for the Belmont?
That's right. We're not used to being late.
I know.
I know. I blame those guys. Talk too long.
Yeah, that is a very uncharacteristic Magic Mike trait, definitely to go long. That shows the excitement for the Belmont. And I think the Belmont being at Saratoga, obviously, that is huge. And I think everybody is super, super excited about what's going to happen Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Shoddy and Davey, both the first two to comment. And that's probably because they're still celebrating Otto the Conqueror, who won today at Churchill Downs. First win since the Springboard Mile. He cut back to 6.5 furlongs. He cut back to an allowance race, and he got the job done. So, Papa Dude, Otto the Conqueror with a victory.
It's great, and I know they like that horse. I know Shoddy does for sure.
Yep, that is a fantasy league horse for both of them. Of course,
There
they
we
saw
go.
Otto the Conqueror win in person at the Springboard Mile in December. So, and yeah, I heard from a rumor that Davey hit that exacta. So,
There we go.
Yep, big time. Big win. There's Kevin B. Yes, a big time win for the fantasy league. All right, Papa Dude, let's do it. Let's get to the Belmont. Let's stop wasting time. Field of 10 lining up at Saratoga on Saturday for the Belmont Stakes. That is not going to be, will never not be weird to say, but here we are. Big favorite on Sierra Leone. We'll go through them one by one, and then we'll give our picks at the end. Let's talk Seize the Gray, winner of the Preakness. Can he replicate that Preakness race?
I think he should be a little lower than 8-1, probably. Yeah, you would think he's going to go to the lead. I would think. There's 10 horses, so if he does kind of get pinned, I don't think that's a whole bunch he has to overcome. Ran a great race.
Yep.
The distance isn't that much of a factor probably this time as it would be because it's a mile and a quarter instead of a mile and a half like the Belmont usually is. Sure, I give him a shot for sure. I didn't put him on top because he might be a little bit tired coming off of that great race in the Preakness, but I think you got to throw him in there. I think he's one of the top four for sure.
I think the big question mark with him and the thing you're going to have to determine when you're handicapping him, do you think he is now who he was in the Preakness, or do you think the Preakness was a little bit of a fluke and he's going to regress back to what he was before that race? I think that's the key. If you had him as progressing and you thought he was going to progress and run huge in the Preakness, you were absolutely right. Now, can he hold the form? That's the question, because here's the deal. He draws the rail. If he breaks well, he's got a real good shot to get the same trip. Is he good enough? That's the question. Is he the Preakness horse, or is he more of what? And I know he won the race, but the Pat Day was not that strong of a race when it comes visually or the speed figures. So who is he? Is he that Preakness horse? If you believe he is, I will go this far. If you believe he's going to run the Preakness race in this spot, I think you have to bet him, because I think he's going to win.
If he runs as good as the Preakness?
Yep.
There's a horse in here, though, that wasn't in the Preakness. That concerns me. That's the only reason I would kind of disagree with that just a little bit.
Okay.
Because this horse, I think, is better. So that would be the only thing. I think he can beat him? Yes. But I think the other horse might be a little bit better.
All right, that's a good prelude to what we'll talk about here in a minute then. So there's the comments on Seize the Gray. We'll come back and give picks at the end here. We're just going one by one. Number 2 is Resilience. Resilience is a horse that I thought ran pretty decent actually in the Kentucky Derby. From that outside post, it wasn't too bad. He also won the Wood. I think people are high on him coming into this one, Papa Dude. Are you high on Resilience?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
All right.
I think he's a good horse. I don't think he's better than 2 or 3 of these in here. So you want to throw him in there. If you're thinking about the exotics, you might want to look at the horse, but I just don't think he's as good as 2 or 3 of the other ones that are in there. So I might look at him as a 4th or 5th spot. but no higher than that.
He's definitely have to take a step up, I think, and he might be able to do it. I just think it might be a little too much. I'm with you on that one. Let's go to number 3, Mystic Dan. The Kentucky Derby winner ran very well in the Preakness to get second. They shipped him up there immediately to Saratoga.
Yep.
Evidently, he's doing great as he enters this race. He's 5-1. Projects to get a pretty similar trip to what he's been getting, Papa Dude. What's your thoughts on Mystic Dan?
Well, it all comes down to what do you believe? Can these horses run 3 Triple Crown races like they used to, or can they not? Isn't that what it comes down to?
Well, I think you've seen better horses than Mystic Dan kind of get to this third leg and come up a little flat at times. You know, you think about a California Chrome being a recent one that he got to this third leg and he didn't run bad, but he just couldn't quite kick it in. And maybe the 1.25 miles and not a 1.5 miles will help with that situation.
I think.
Honestly,
go ahead.
I think he's doing pretty well, and I think they're pretty confident, or they wouldn't run him. There's really no pressure to run him here.
No.
They brought him up there. They said if he's doing well, we'll run. And I guess, hey, he's doing well.
I think they think he's ready to go. I'm with you. I don't know why they would run him. They don't, because they don't have to. What's he proven? He proved he won the Derby and he ran good in the Preakness. That's pretty good. He doesn't have anything left to prove.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I think he's ready to go. I don't know why he can't win unless he just doesn't have any juice coming down the stretch because he's run the first 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I would love to see him win it just to show these guys, hey, you can still do this.
I would love to see it as well. Same with Seize the Gray. You know, he didn't run in the Derby, but he ran in the Pat Day Mile. So he basically is doing 3 and 5 weeks as well. So it'd be great to see. Kevin B says, especially because you could tell McPeak wants to run Torpedo Anna against the boys. And I agree with this. And that's the thing. If Mystic Dan wasn't doing well, I don't think Kenny McPeak would have had any trouble to put Torpedo Anna in this race. But I think his logic is, look, he's a male horse. This is for the males. And if he's doing well, he's got just as good a chance as she does. So I'll throw him in there. And if he's not doing well, I'll put Torpedo Anna in there and the hell with it. And so I really agree with the logic. All right, let's keep going. Number 4 is the Wine Stewart, coming off back-to-back second place efforts to kick off his 3-year-old campaign. He also was second the last time we saw him as a 2-year-old as well. Can he bounce back from what I thought was a pretty average race in the Peter Pan?
Yeah, that's the problem. 2 grade 3s, hasn't won either one of them. I think you have to look at that. You know, he's 6 for 6 as far as finishing first or second. He's running against better horses here. Yeah. So that's the issue. He hasn't really run against this kind of quality of horse. I think he's kind of tempting to throw him in there at 15-1 because he never has finished less than second. It's just, how do you value the races that he's run previously?
Yep. Dr. Miranda told us he would not be running in this race this weekend, yet here he is. So breaking news did not come through for the doctor. All right, let's go to the number 5, Antiquarian. Speaking of the Peter Pan, he was the winner of the Peter Pan the last time we saw him. Looked pretty good doing it, kind of put away the Wine Stewart, fairly easily. Look, some years the Peter Pan winner shows up here and does nothing. And some years they show up here and they win, like Arcangelo, like Tonalist. What about Antiquarian? What's he going to do in the spot?
I'm going to go with the ones that show up and do nothing.
He feels like that type to me as well. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the Peter Pan's anything to write home about. He ran in the grade 2 Louisiana Derby and finished 6th. And I think he's over his head. No for me on the 5.
I think he's progressing okay, but I'm kind of with you. I don't think he's good enough. Maybe he can get a small piece of this. He does kind of have a running style where I don't think he'll get burned out, and I don't think he'll be way far back if the pace isn't hot. So I think he'll kind of be around. My problem with him when I watch him, I just don't see that huge kick. I think he really needs to jump up or make another jump up if he wants to win this one. So on my fantasy team, but I can't support him here, especially to win. All right, let's keep going. Number 6, Dornoch, will be next here. Another horse looks like a long shot. Really back-to-back pretty poor races. And to be honest, really 3 poor races. As a 3-year-old, the race he won was a real joke of a race, and he did not look good.
No.
I think I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
I don't give him much of a shot.
Yeah.
I think he could play a key role in the race because
Yes.
to me, you have to just send him to the lead.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do and sees the Graysons, then all of a sudden we get the pace.
That's right.
Maybe not a pace meltdown, but it's going to speed up.
Yeah. And you can also throw mind frame in there as well, I think.
Yeah, we'll get to him as well. Yeah.
So, yeah. You look at the races, the 3 races he's won. What did he do? He wired them.
Yep.
They got the lead. He never was anything more than first all the way around. So, yeah, if you're the trainer and the jockey, you have to send him to the front. You have to. And he will get out there and go. So that does make Seize the Gray have to go and mind frame as well. So I think he is a key. I don't think he wins, but I think, like you said, he can mess everything up.
Yeah, I think he's the one that really he really by any way you look at this, there's only one option for this horse, in my opinion, and that is to go. And so if you've got a speed horse breaking from the rail, and then you've got a horse in the middle here that we're both sitting here saying, look, his best chance is to get to the lead.
Yep.
I think it might speed this thing up a little bit. So that's kind of my thought on Dornoch. I would be shocked if he doesn't go to the front. All right. Well, let me back up. The only thing is maybe he just sucks. And you know what I mean? Like maybe he just won't. And so there is that aspect as well. All right, let's keep going. Number 7 is Protective. It's bad when you start to handicap the grade 1 Belmont and it's a maiden. But that is what Protective is. He's ran okay in some stakes races. So, I mean, I don't give him any shot, but what about you?
No, absolutely not. This looks like something D. Wayne would do.
Yeah.
Guess who Pletcher learned from?
That's right.
So this would be the biggest shocker of all, I think, is if he won.
I would be shocked. All right, let's keep going. Number 8. By the way, I think Mike Rapoli is the one that said, we're putting that horse in there. Sure. Number 8 is Honor Marie. This is a horse that was the quote unquote wise guy horse, one of them in the Kentucky Derby, and got eliminated to start, did absolutely nothing, but had a big excuse.
Yeah.
Here we come back. You're getting a pretty decent number on this horse. Any interest at all in Honor Marie?
We talk about him all the time.
I know.
Never does anything. So
no, he really doesn't.
No, you said the wise guy. How about the dumbass guy too? That's what I look at that one. So no, I don't get. We've seen crazy things in these Triple Crown races. So obviously, strange things have happened and he could win. But I just don't see any reason to back him on this. I just don't.
I don't either. I think you put it pretty well. He just has never really. I mean, to me, this year, he just could he hit the board? Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of his. And look, let's just keep on going and go to number 9, Sierra Leone. And maybe this is one of the biggest reasons I'm not a big fan of him. Yeah. If I'm taking a closer in this race, it's got to be Sierra Leone. So number 9, Sierra Leone. Talk about your thoughts on him.
Well, if you're going with a closer, how can you pick anything but this one?
Yeah, he seems to be just the better version of Honor Marie.
He is a classic closer. And that's what he's going to do. He's ran 5 times, and all 5 times he's come way off the lead.
Yeah.
Except in his first one, the maiden, he wasn't too far back. I don't know, might have only been 6 horses in a race. I don't know, but look at the next one. He finished second by a nose in the Remsen. He was 10th, made his big move and got up to within a nose.
Yep.
And then in the Risen Star, 9th, 7th, made his gradual move, got up and won by half a length. In the Bluegrass, 9th, 7th, 4th, same thing, went up and won. And then in the Kentucky Derby, I thought he ran a fantastic race and almost got there. Had he not been jostled down the stretch, I think we'd be talking about the Kentucky Derby winner. I really do.
Yeah.
So I don't see there's anything to doubt him on in a field of only 10 horses, instead of 20.
Yep.
I think this post means much. I think they'll get him somewhere where he's comfortable. and ready to make that big move. So yeah, I don't see too much not to like about this one.
Yeah, I think he is the class of the race, and I think he's the most consistent horse in the race. And again, I think there's going to be enough pace that he's going to be okay here. One thing I will tell you guys, and this is just something over the years I've seen it a lot. Tyler Gaffleone's off the horse. Flavien Prat gets on the horse. Pratt has a way of getting his horses in a little bit better spots than normal if he's on a closer. I know that every race this horse has had, he's going to go towards the back, if not last, second to last. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to not put him like on the lead or stalking or anything like that. I wouldn't be shocked if he tries to get him more towards the middle of this pack. I like Tyler Gaffleone, but I do think this is a little bit of an upgrade to Flavien Prat. I think it was a smart move, and I just have a feeling you're going to see this horse a little bit better placed. At least they're going to try that. But again, if he's last up the backside, I do think they'll be going fast enough. And honestly, I think he's going to make that big move regardless. And I think as long as one of them just doesn't totally get away, he's going to be really, really tough to hold off. So,
I mean, why would we think anything else? He's ran 5 times. They're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they may move him a little closer. Don't get him back quite so far.
Yeah.
Still, I don't see him going out in the lead and getting up and challenging them. That's not his style. That's not the way he runs.
Ryan Silman was talking about this earlier in the week, and he said, look, the horse is 2 noses away from being undefeated.
Absolutely.
5-5. So he's like, he is that horse. If you pick him, you got a pretty good feeling that you're going to get your money's worth out of him. Maybe he doesn't win and gets beat here, but he's probably going to run that huge race. So you gotta look at that for sure. All right. Final one.
I still say too, had he not been jostled down the stretch of the Kentucky Derby, he would have won the Derby.
If you missed the comments, I agree, by the way. If you missed the comments from Chad Brown, I think he agrees with you and I.
Yeah.
Pretty much said Tyler Gaffleone did not do anything I told him to do in the stretch. And so people were like, boy, tough game. Tyler won a couple big ones, and now after one loss, he's off of him. And the rebuttal that I have is if what Chad Brown said is true,
right,
and he told him a few specific things and Gaffleone didn't get the job done, well, you're off. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's the Kentucky Derby. You don't go against what the trainer tells you to do and lose.
No, that's just it. If you're gonna go against some of the things he wanted you to do, you damn well better win.
You better win it.
It makes it worse. You lose by a nose, and you're playing grab ass with the other jockey on Forever Young the whole stretch.
That's right.
So I mean, I like Tyler Gaffleone. I think he's a great rider. I'm not trying to make this a hate fest for Tyler Gaffleone. I think he's very good. But at the same time, if I trained and owned the horse, I'd probably make a move. I would. And it's just that simple. So, but look, I mean, again, he'll be back and he'll win a big one. There's no doubt. But that's just the way it goes. So I don't really blame him. All right, let's keep going. Final one, number 10, Mind Frame. This feels like the all or nothing horse in the race here. 2 very impressive wins against nobody.
That's right.
Now you are getting thrown to the wolves in a big time way. Is he good enough? I think he's got to be a freak to win this race with this lack of experience, but maybe he is. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay. How do I put this? Okay, he won a maiden at Gulfstream against God knows what.
Yeah. And
he won an allowance at Churchill, probably better horses, yes. That's it. That's all he's done.
Yeah.
There's people that always look at this and they gotta, not me. He may beat me. I don't care. The horse hasn't done near what Sierra Leone has done and most of the others, except Protective, who's a maiden.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's won by 20 lengths when you add them up together.
Right.
Okay, that's what he's supposed to do. But can he come in here and beat a horse like Sierra Leone or Seize the Gray or Mystic Dan? Maybe, but I ain't picking him.
Yeah, I think I just landed with, look, maybe he is an absolute freak, and maybe he does win a race like this, third off, first time trying stakes, like all that kind of stuff. Very difficult to do. And if he does, it's pretty easy to solve. If you think there's a chance of that, just kind of throw him on your tickets, and that's it, right? You can put him on the multi races and then go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like, I'm going to bet this horse to win. No, I'm going to put him in spots where if he wins, I'm going to win a few bets, maybe not just the win wager. I just couldn't do it. I just could not put him on top. That lack of experience is a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think as we go through the summer, I think what we're looking for here is he runs well.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, then look at him for the rest of the summer. He may be one of those late bloomers that comes along. We see these all the time. Wasn't quite ready early in the year, didn't mature as early as some of the others, whatever reason they didn't race him as a 2-year-old. So we see what he does here. If he's really good, then you better watch him the rest of the year.
Quick question. Any truth that Mindframe and Flightline share partial bloodlines? I heard on another channel. I don't know what channel you heard it on. Mindframe is a Constitution out of a Street Sense mare, and then Flightline is a Tappet out of an Indian Charlie mare. So immediate bloodlines, and absolutely not. And I don't have the 3, 4, 5, 6 times back, but I have the 2 and 3 times back. I don't see anything, so I don't know where you heard there. Mindframe.
How much of that do you play anyway? Do you play
0.
that?
I mean, if it was less than I was answering the question, but if you think that makes any difference, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
well, I never play that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's less than 0 on that, on the breeding thing, because here's the deal. Mindframe had a brother run at Oaklawn who was terrible, and then he did have another brother run at Santa Anita, and he looked pretty good. But look, like I'm talking Flightline, I think I said Mindframe, but Flightline is what I'm talking about. But the bottom line is it's you can have full brothers and one be terrible and one be good. I mean, it just doesn't factor in much.
It's like that in humans. One of them's a good basketball player, the other was not.
Well, look at LeBron James and then look at Bronny, right? I mean, that's a big topic right now. Bronny entering the NBA draft, and everybody's like, well, how could he go to the NBA draft?
It's crazy.
Yeah. But look, I think at the end of the day, people, I think what it comes down to with Mindframe, and I don't think this is a bad thing, by the way. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people see those 2 races and they want him to be a star, because who doesn't want to see a star, right? And so now it's like, okay, let's find some similarities with this horse to the greats. And if you could find some, it just strengthens your opinion. And more than your opinion, it strengthens the hope that we are going to see a star on Saturday. And look, I think everybody would like to envision, here comes this horse that's undefeated, lightly raced. He turns the corner at Saratoga in the Belmont. He wins by 5. And I think that'd be exciting for sure. Mm-hmm. The reality of it is, and again, he could do exactly what I laid out. The reality of it is 90% of the time, that's not what happens with these types. They kind of, the first time they try stakes, and especially at this caliber, it doesn't quite go that way. I think there's a reason why Pletcher kind of came out and said, we want to take the Haskell route. I think he kind of wanted to build him up, but I think when Fierceness kind of bit the dust a little bit and got injured or whatever is wrong with him and he's not running, I think then it was Rapoli saying, look, I want to have this horse in because he's got a shot. And he does, but it is a big time task. If you believe he is truly a freak horse, play him. Sure. If you think he's just good and not like a freak, I don't think this is the spot to play him. It's going to be an extremely tough task.
I agree.
Yeah.
And there is a star in this race. It's the 9.
Well, I do not look at final times, but I was going to compare. The problem is he's only ran 7 furlongs in a mile and 16th. I'm trying to find a mile and 16th race for any of these horses as we talk here. The Southwest looks like at 1.16 miles. And again, you cannot compare different tracks, different times, different days. But if you want to go down that road, the Southwest was 141.89 for Mystic Dan. That was at 1.16 miles. Mind Frame at 1.16 miles ran at 142.28. So that's not an accurate comment either there, Lou.
Mystic Dan was on a sloppy track.
And yeah, that was true on a sloppy track. Some of these horses haven't even ran at 1.16 miles. Let's see. Sees the Gray. He's had a couple. He stopped the clock at 143. That again, it's kind of a useless data point anyway. But Mindframe doesn't actually have the fastest times either, as I look through here. So I mean, it's one of those things, guys. There's no question that he is a horse that had a lot of hype before the debut and has ran to the hype. And it's again, if you believe he can be a special horse, then he can win. No doubt he can win this race.
Sure.
If you think he's anything less than special, it becomes another discussion. And that's, I mean,
well,
go ahead.
Here's the way I look at it. I don't know about, I can't watch a horse run twice and when he's in an allowance and a maiden and say he's special. I'm not good enough at looking at a horse and telling that. If he'd have won a grade 2 by 8 lengths, okay, that's pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
But winning a maiden and winning an allowance is not, to me, not enough to bet him to win in this race with some of the others that are in there. That's just the way I look at it. Could be totally wrong because I'm not good enough judge of what a horse looks like that's special until I've seen him win a race that's special. How about that?
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's amazing to me how many of these horses just have been running 1.1 miles and 1.25 miles as I kind of look and compare other times. But yeah, no, I mean, I always worry when it's a Pletcher or a Brown or a Baffert, because these guys, no matter what you want to say about them, they can accelerate a horse to this level better than some.
Yeah, they can.
And so anytime those three names are attached with a horse that looks like this, again, and I'm going to put the horse on the pick 4s and the pick 5s.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it because, and it's more of a respect for how quickly Pletcher can move a horse up the ladder.
Well,
so
he's got IRAD on him too.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty to like. The other big piece of it to me, if he is around the 7-2 price, man, that's pretty short on a horse. It's got a lot to prove. But I've heard great things, and this is from the barn. Before he ever even debuted, I got a text saying this is his best. This is Pletcher's best. So I mean, can you catch him here? That's the question. It'll be interesting. As far as the trip, I think he'll sit right off the speed, and he'll probably loom dangerously, don't you think?
Yeah. And Davey is saying exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Anyone can practice better than everyone. Only proven in competition do you see who he's really at pinnacle. He hasn't done that yet. So that's why I can't take him.
The one thing I will say, he hasn't done it yet. That doesn't mean he can't. It just means we don't know.
We don't know.
So at that point, no matter how you feel of him, you're going to go into the race not knowing his talent level. So you need a price that matches the question mark about it. I mean, that's kind of the end. And again, that's an individual question. If you sitting here and you're like, I think he's amazing, and I think 7-2 is incredible, bet that horse without any doubt. Bet him.
Hey, Kevin B asked a good question. Would you rather have 7-2 on Mindframe or 5-1 on Mystic Dan? Easy for me. Give me 5-1 on the horse that's done something.
Yeah, you are the guy that wants to take the proven commodity, and
and he's got the better odds. So yeah,
I would say pause on that because I don't know. I've been so bad at predicting what the odds are going to be for these horses in the Triple Crown races, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a world where that's going to actually be the odds, but David Aragona is a great morning line maker. He's not wrong that often. So maybe this is going to be accurate. We'll see. But
I think it might flip flop. I would think maybe
that was my thought. That was my thought, that it might flip flop. Yeah.
Mhm.
But like I said, I'm not going to talk bad about his morning lines. And now that John White's going to retire here in a 2 or 3 weeks, David Aragona's the best. So we'll see.
Yeah.
One last thing before we pick our picks here, Lou, another good comment, I think here. He thinks Mystic Dan and Sees the Gray needs a rest. I look at them at being tiring after the mile marker. I can get on board with this. Here's the deal. When you see horses, that third race is when they've tried the first 2 Triple Crown races. That third race, they do start to look a little dull. You think, like I mentioned at the top, California Chrome was one. He rounded that corner looking like he was going to do it, and then you could tell, he's tired. He's not going to fire. So this usually is the one that gets him. So that is a definite worry, I think.
I'm going to say this. If I had to pick between the 2 that I think will tire first, I would take Mystic Dan.
I think so.
Because Sees the Gray ran in a mile.
Yep.
He
I
ran
agree
in
with
that
that.
day mile. Or Sees the Gray. And Mystic Dan ran his ass off in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
He did. So
he laid it on the line.
The one that I would be the most worried to get tired.
I agree. All right. Top picks. Here we go. Who you got?
Well, easy. The 9.
You think it's a slam dunk?
I might single the 9.
Wow. Okay. You're that confident.
Well, I don't know why I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
He's running great.
Mm-hmm.
He could easily be undefeated. In my mind, he probably should have won the Kentucky Derby.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what we're all looking for. I think that's pretty good. He's well rested. He didn't run in the Preakness. He crosses all the T's for me and dots the I's. I mean, I think he's the best. So yes, 9.
All right. Sierra Leone for you.
Easiest of these that I've done of the Triple Crown this year for me.
I mean, this is great. I mean, you want strong opinions when you watch shows like this, and I that's a very strong opinion.
Strong opinion, but anyway,
that's as strong as you can get. You're saying you want to single him. You're saying you're the most confident. I mean, that's great.
The most confident of the Triple Crown so far.
Right.
For me. I mean, I didn't even take 2 seconds to say, well, this horse is going to win.
Took me longer than 2 seconds, but it didn't take that long to agree with what you're saying. I looked at this and I thought, man, I really believe he's the best horse in this. He's definitely the most consistent. Then you start looking, okay, is the pace going to set up? And it's like, it really should.
Yep.
I really like the change in jockey again. I don't really mean that as a total negative towards Gaffleone, but yeah. So
after what he did in the Derby, it's a negative. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I
know. Dumb.
I think myself I've cashed a lot of tickets with Tyler, and I don't want to.
Oh no, I'm not bashing him. Everybody can do something dumb.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Sierra Leone as well. The horse after handicapping it that I really surprised myself with as liking is Sees the Gray.
I do too, because I think he's got a shot to get to the front and get him going.
I just feel like we know Lucas and what happens with Lucas horses. When they get good, they're good for just that little
bit
of races. And then they're going to fall off. I'm not sure that this is the fall off.
No, I'm not either.
I think he's going to run pretty well. I was shocked. The more I handicapped it, I thought, if he runs the Preakness race, they may not catch him. So I'm going to use Sees the Gray.
He's my second. He's number 2.
If you follow and kind of believe that time form numbers are a good number, which I do, and I know you do as well, he's got the best one.
He does. And here's the thing. Lucas trains different than others. He don't care to run these 3 races.
No.
So he probably works them a little bit harder than the other ones do.
Yeah.
He's not going to back down from this.
Yeah.
And Sees the Gray, even if he'd have finished 8th, would have probably ran into the Belmont. So I don't know if that means anything in today's times, but I think it does. So I think I've got him second.
Yeah. Well,
And I
all
hope
right.
he wins it. I would love it.
Ramari says Dornock will win this thing in a romp, so he's going for Dornock here. That would be a very surprising result, but we've had surprising results so far.
Yeah. Shoot,
So,
who's to argue? I mean, come on.
well, I think if you're in the game long enough, you do realize, and hopefully people realize that differing opinions are going to happen, and you can get humbled real quick. And the ones that don't get humbled are just living in another world, because you are going to miss a lot of races and be surprised. And Ramari could be absolutely right. If Dordock wins, he's going to be he or she going to be one of the few that will be celebrating, because this horse will be a big price. But nothing is impossible in these races. That's what we've learned over the years.
I will never knock anybody for who they pick unless the horse is 99-1.
And once again, I think that comes from experience.
Oh, God.
You know and understand. Any horse can win as soon as those gates open, and
it's a horse.
The minute you start knocking somebody for their pick, that's when you're going to be embarrassed. And so, I would not do that.
I may think to myself, I don't think so, but I'm never going to tell you that's dumb.
There's a difference between saying to yourself that guy is crazy and saying to the guy out loud, good luck. I hope he does it for you, because you're going to get a great price. And that's
absolutely.
Yeah. Lou says the best mid-long shot antiquarian.
Maybe.
I don't think that's too bad of an opinion.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't like. There's. The wine steward's always right there, but I just don't think he's good enough to win. That's another one I would kind of look at a little bit. Yeah.
I think when I look at, okay, who am I going to be, if I say I hit the first horse or the second horse, who's going to finish third in this race that really pisses me off, it would be the wine steward, and it would be Resilience. Because I both of Resilience and the wine steward, I know, like, I have respect for both of them, but I just can't get all the way there with them. And then if they show up and it's like, no, he got third and I'm out of the try, it's gonna be like, well, I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't,
Well, I'll throw it. It's this, we got Mystic Dan, who's been great in the first few races. And we talk about McPeak sometimes. He can't get him to just keep going. Is this the one he falls completely on his face, maybe? So that's something that scares me a little bit about him.
Yeah.
I want to pick him third. I do, and I think I did.
Yeah.
But I could see him finishing 10th as well.
Yep.
I think the horse is good, but sometimes they fall on their face when they get to this third one. So
you do kind of have it in the back of your mind, and and it's not because of the two races he's run already. It's because of what he did in the past, which maybe we shouldn't hold it against him, but we've seen Mystic Dan kind of not be that great in a few races. And I think at the end of the day, you kind of, in the back of my mind, at least, I keep thinking, okay, it's probably coming, right?
Like, that's what I keep thinking.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't, because
he hasn't done anything for us to think that, except this is the third one. He's ran so hard in the first two.
Yeah.
You have to wonder.
I'll say this before we move on to the NHL NBA playoffs or finals, I should say. I have become, this is weird, because I don't dislike or have anything like negative about Kenny McPeak. I think he's fine, but I have said for a while, I don't want to really bet on a lot of Kenny McPeak horses. They're sporadic. Yes. I think through this spring, and now as we get into summer, thank God it's a summer now, I've loved the way he's handled these two big horses, and I've loved kind of the comments he's made. I don't know. I'm kind of switching my camp a little bit. I'm kind of a fan of this guy after what we've seen this spring and summer. Yeah. So I kind of remember. That was a long way of saying kind of rooting for Mystic Dan. I think that's pretty cool what he's been able to do with this
I'm
horse.
not. Hope he gets his ass beat.
Okay.
It's not because I'm a peak either. It's because I got 2 more horses ahead of him.
Okay. Well, that's well.
It
At
has
the end of the
nothing to
day,
do
when they're
with
coming down the
anything.
stretch, if Sierra Leone and Mystic Dan are head to head, I'm not rooting for Mystic Dan. Then.
Exactly.
So that's fair. That's very fair.
Now the other question is, will Sierra Leone hold at 9-5? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think 6-5, 7-5. That's probably what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to repeat. I didn't say that because I want McPeak to lose. I got 2 horses ahead of that one. So
yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, I think the rooting interest will be Sierra Leone, obviously, and then if Sierra Leone's just not running, I'll look for McPeak and for Lucas and see what happens with those two. That's kind of the way I look at it. So, all righty, folks. Gosh, I don't want to do this. You're going to carry this one. NBA playoffs. They've been so exciting. We are now to the finals. Hooray! The Mavericks and the Celtics. Oh, I can't wait. All right. Celtics are 6.5-point favorites. They're big favorites to win it. What do you think? Celtics, Dallas. Who you got?
Well, I kind of was looking at some stuff before we got on here, trying to make an opinion of this. To me, this is hard. It's a hard one because you got a Boston team that's rolled through the regular season. They've rolled through the playoffs, but admittedly, they have not played great teams. But they're 12-2, I believe it is, in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They can't help who they've had to beat. And like you say all the time in a horse race, all the competition wasn't very good, but he won by 15 lengths. Okay, you got to kind of look at that.
Right.
They didn't struggle in these playoffs at all. They have a key player who's coming back that did not play at all in the first 3 rounds, who's a key player if he's healthy. I read a lot of stuff today about that. I'm not sure he's going to be at 100%. If he is, he might make a difference. Then you got Dallas that played absolutely phenomenal through the playoffs against, I think, a tougher run. They had to beat the Clippers, they had to beat the Thunder, and then they had to beat Minnesota, and they did, and they were impressive. They lost game 4. They went up there and thumped Minnesota in game 5. That was impressive. You got 2 of the best. They got 2 superstars that are playing extremely well. And there are other guys that are role players who are playing well too. So to me, this is a good series. I'm taking Dallas.
All right. Well, I'm
going
going to take Dallas.
The only thing is, I think they have to win it in 6 because if it comes down to a game 7 in Boston, I'm not sure they can do it. So they're going to have to steal one of these first 2, come back and win the 2 in Dallas, and then close it out in game 6. I just don't know if they can go in Boston and win a game 7. I'm not sure.
I think Dallas. I don't think it goes to 7. I think Dallas is going to win. I think they're the best team. I think they've shown it. And look, you said they had to play harder teams. Mm-hmm. They beat them fairly easily.
They really did.
Listen,
Minnesota was playing fantastic.
Killed them,
and they beat them in 5.
Yep.
So I'm telling you, that's impressive. And they beat the Thunder. And say what you want to about the Thunder, I don't think they were quite ready for that. They're kind of a player short, but they're still very good. Mm-hmm. And they beat them. And when you got Kyrie turned on like he is, he's as good as anybody. When he's motivated, which he's not always motivated, when he is, he's as good as there is. And then Luke is a great player. So now Boston will counter with Tatum and Brown. They're very good as well. But I just don't think they played who Dallas is. I'm going to take the Mavericks, but it's a tough series to pick. It really is.
All right. Good luck to everybody on that one. You have to fill me in on what happens. All right. Let's go now to what we really want to talk about and what Rob's here for as well. The thing that's going to be actually good, the Oilers and the Panthers. Yeah. Okay. NHL playoffs. They've been amazing.
Unbelievable.
The finals, the East and West finals.
Incredible.
Every night on the East side, I'd cash every bet. And every night on the West Side, I would lose every bet. So I ended up about even for the finals. Thankfully, the series before, or the round before, was really, really good. So still doing well. Now we get to the Stanley Cup. I've got it all on Florida to win the Stanley Cup. I'm going to bet Florida in this series. However, the Oilers, they really impressed me against them. They really looked way, way, way better than I thought they would. So can they go and now beat the Panthers? That's the question.
Well, okay. Going into the playoffs, what did we say was the Oilers' weakness?
Goaltending, defense,
defense, and
toughness. Yeah.
And all three of those questions have been answered, haven't they?
The goaltending's been great.
Goaltending's been unbelievable.
But Dallas never really got any decent shots, I felt like, in that series.
Because their defense is so good.
They shut them down. They shut them down.
They have the scoring power. And they've always just been a little bit inconsistent in goal and on defense. And in that Dallas series, they shut their ass down. And I'm telling you, he was unbelievable in that final game.
Yeah.
When Dallas put the pressure on, when it's down 2-0, and they scored to make it 2-1. My God, if they didn't pepper him, he stood tall. So, I'm with you. I'm going to take Florida because I think overall they're just a little bit better. But if Edmonton gets the goaltending and the defense like they've had, this is going to be a whale of a series. It's going to be fun to watch. I thought Florida was great against the Rangers. They've been great the entire playoffs. They're really solid. This is going to be fun. It's going to be great to watch. But I'm going with the Panthers as well. I love to watch Edmonton play, though. I do. I give them a really good chance, but I just think Florida's just a little bit better.
Once a Panther, always a Panther. I've been a Panther since about midway through last season. Once a Panther, always a Panther. I picked them before the season started. I bet them about mid-season. I bet them to win the Cup. I bet them again right before the playoffs to win the Cup. I'm all in on Florida, which means the Oilers are going to win the series most likely. But honestly, like if I sit here and I legitimately, even now, forget about the future wagers, because those are, when it comes to analyzing what's going to happen right now, those mean nothing. But I just look at this and go, oh, look, Florida has everything I want in a hockey team. They're physical. Mm-hmm. They will fight you if they need to. They've got prolific scorers. They play stellar defense. They've got a great goalie. Mm-hmm. I think they're better. I think lined 1 through 4, they're better than Edmonton. I'm going to go Panthers, but I'm telling you, the Oilers really have me scared because of how good they looked against Dallas.
Yeah.
And how about the contrast here? Florida hockey versus Canadian hockey. The Stanley Cup hadn't been in Canada in a long, long time.
That's right. It has.
Patrick Waugh was the last goalie, and he was playing for the Canadians when they had this. So
I think it was 30 years, I think I heard.
Yes, and so trying to bring that cup back home against a team from Florida. But listen, the odd thing about it, that Stanley Cup's in Florida a lot. Let's not forget Tampa Bay with the run they had. And the Panthers, they remind me a lot of those Tampa Bay teams. But anyway.
Well, we're saying Florida hockey versus Canada hockey. These players aren't from Florida. So it don't make a shit where they're playing at.
That's right.
And so, and let me tell you something. If you think the Edmonton fans are any more crazy about it than the Florida fans, you're wrong. Any city where you've got a great hockey team, those fans are nuts. Whether they know anything about hockey or not, you get into it. And this the Panthers fans are great. Edmonton is second to none. I mean, they're just going crazy up there. Yeah. When's the last time they've been in it? It's been quite a while for them too.
I'm trying to remember. I that was back. Gosh,
I don't. Made it a few years ago as a big underdog. If I remember.
Chris Pronger was there one year and they made it.
That would have been 05, 04 maybe.
Yeah, gosh, I can't remember. I was in Las Vegas one time when they were playing. I remember watching it, but I think that may have been 06. Pretty sure it was 06, but I cannot remember off the top of my head.
No, I'd say that's about right.
But they've been close.
I didn't think they'd get here. Did you?
No.
They opened up with the Kings, and I thought they would beat them.
Yes, yeah.
And then who they beat next? Did they
They
beat
beat Vancouver, and that didn't surprise me.
no.
But
And then they had to beat, of course, Dallas, and I thought Dallas would beat them. I did.
I thought they would run into Dallas or Colorado and get beat.
Yeah.
And they really, honestly, they dominated most of those games. They really did.
They did.
They were the better team. Now, the last game they weren't, but they still won, So
because Skinner was unbelievable.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Dallas played pretty well.
They did. In the last game, sure, but the first 5 they didn't. I don't know if it's because they just dicked around or if it's because the Oilers made them look bad.
You have to think you can dick around one game, and you ain't going to dick around 5, don't you see? I think it's because the Oilers are playing fantastic hockey.
Yep.
And you got to beat Dallas. You have
They did everything that I didn't think they could do.
Me too. I did not think that. I thought Dallas would defend them and beat them.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. It's going to be pretty crazy to watch the series. I hope it's a great one.
I think it will be.
It seems like it should be for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're both on Florida.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're both on Florida, and I'm not going to bet the game on Saturday. I know I can't focus on it. I'll probably start actually betting the games on Monday. So I'll watch the first one, or at least watch highlights of the first one, and then go from there. So I'm not going to do the first game. So we'll see. But for as far as future wager goes, Florida's got to win. I got nothing on Edmonton. I got no futures on Edmonton. So if they win, I'm out on all that.
Another thing is the travel in this series.
Crazy.
That's a long way to Edmonton, and then for Edmonton all the way to Florida, that's a long way.
Yep, long flight for sure. Yep. All right. Anything else? I'll take this off of here. You got any final thoughts before we get out of here today?
No. I know you're heading tomorrow.
Yeah. When is the flight? We leave Springfield at 3:25. Then we got a layover in Chicago. We land in Albany at about 9:30, I think, tomorrow. So 9:30 at night tomorrow. So we shall see. We'll see what happens. Weather is wild. Like every day I look at that weather app and it's a little bit different. It looks like the forecast isn't too bad now, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
well, before we get off here, let's mention our softball team.
Yes.
And guys, if you have not watched any girls softball and you think it's boring, I used to. It's fun.
Yeah.
It is really impressive to watch these girls play. They are good.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy watching it. And I'm sure, most of it's because my team's in it. So OU's going for 4 straight national championships.
Yep.
It's never been done before. And who do they have to go through?
Yeah.
It's just fitting that they're going to have to beat Texas for the second year in a row to win the national championship. I don't know if they can do it this year. They lost a game the other night that's going to kill them because they don't have their best pitcher tonight. I don't think she'll pitch her. I don't see how she can, but she might. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I just don't know whether they can do it this year, but I say that every year because it's so hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. They looked beat. Florida had them down. It looked like it was over. And then here they came. They chipped away, and then they win in extra innings on a walk-off. And the title of the article here on ESPN, this is the front page of ESPN. It says the SEC softball Death Star is almost here, and it's ready to dominate. And what that means is Texas is going to the SEC. Oklahoma is going to the SEC. The team Oklahoma beat to get to the national championship was Florida, who, in my opinion, was the third best team in this thing. They looked good. And I believe Florida's only losses were to OU and Texas in this
thing,
right?
They were.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And Alabama was in this as well.
Yep.
And they lost to Florida.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's but it's really, it's entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's real fast. And, 2 out of 3. You got to win 2 out of 3 in this. So I like that too. Don't settle it for one game. Make it a 2 out of 3.
Yep.
So and the best team will win. So
it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They'll decide this thing. So it's a toss-up. Texas won the regular season, but OU won in the tournament, the conference tournament. So they've kind of split. I mean, this is it's pretty fitting that these two teams will go at it, and they were the two best teams all year long, and now we'll see what happens.
They got there.
Yep.
OU's pitching not quite as good as it has been.
Right. Yeah.
Now you got to have great pitching. Texas does. So we'll see. OU's hard to beat.
Yep. We'll see what happens. I think with Florida, they had a great chance and they couldn't extend the lead. And when that started to happen, the champs stayed in it, and then that pressure mounted. So
found a way to win. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is you got to step on OU's throat if you're Texas. You've got to bury them when you have a chance. So
OU's pitchers have got to keep the ball in the ballpark.
Yep.
Giving up too many home runs.
Yep. Well, because their best pitcher transferred to Nebraska and tore ACL. So
that's true.
Now you're stuck with what you're stuck with, which is still pretty good.
Finishing second in the country is not too bad if you've won 3 in a row. If that's
correct. Another good thing, it's happening right now if you want to watch it. Skeens is on the mound for Pittsburgh, the sensational rookie who has just been fantastic. It's at Pittsburgh. They're taking on the Dodgers. So we're kind of keeping an eye on this to see how he does against the Dodgers. He's through 2 innings right now, no runs given up. So we'll see if he can keep that going against that LA lineup. He is he has been.
You did take the Dodgers, didn't you?
I did take the Dodgers, and
you had to.
I mean, the Dodgers are an underdog in Pittsburgh.
You have to take them.
It's not looking great so far. So,
does Pittsburgh have any runs?
Pittsburgh has no runs, but they got runners at second and third, nobody out in the second. So the way Skeens looked in the first 2 innings, they're not going to give up very many runs. So this will get interesting. But yes, I took the Dodgers.
Had to. So done.
Felt like you had to. Yeah. All right. Well, blinkers off coming up next. That's actually going to come up. Let's see if he actually scheduled. Yeah. 23 minutes from now. So at 8, that'll be 31 minutes from now. Blinkers off will be live on the air. Broken bat double for the Pirates, 2-0 Pirates.
Okay, there went our bet.
So
I'm getting to the bullpen, Dodgers.
That's not good at all for Dodgers backers. So, all right, yeah, blinkers off coming up. 31 minutes. We'll be live. We'll be talking Belmont. We'll also talk about the Acorn and maybe a little bit of the other races as well. All right, we're going to get out of here for now. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be right back here next week, and it won't be quite as hectic. I don't know what we'll talk about next week, but we'll find something. So, all right, guys.
We'll have an open forum next week.
Yeah, open forum again, right? All right, guys. Well, we'll get out of here now, and we'll talk to you again after a while.
This is due to Bet Sports.